Ross Merriam is on your right. Michael Derczo is on your left. The team of Taylor, Derczo, and Tumavitch versus Grace, Merriam, and DeCandio. It wasn't a great round for Grace, Merriam, and DeCandio last round.
Oh, no.
So we're going to see.
We got out the brooms.
We're going to see if they can redeem themselves.
DeCandio walked up and was like, yeah, maybe if I was on the play and didn't miss my third land draw. I'm like, dude, get out of here.
Yeah. No one wants to hear it, man. We watched it.
Yeah.
We watched it.
We watched you scoop it up on turn 3. Get out.
Ross is going to start things off with a Razor Ridge Thicket and a copy of Elvish Mystic. We'll see what Michael Derczo is able to do. Both players did keep 7.
This is the, hey, which one would you do here?
Yeah.
Hey, buddy. Friendo.
Yeah. Help me out. What we got? We got Lightning Bolt. Okay, good start.
Yeah, that is interaction. It's about as interactive as this deck gets.
Yeah, it doesn't have a ton of it. Does not have a ton of it. I'm taking a look at the Lightning Bolt counts 4, Collective Brutality 2. The rest are creatures and weird ways of drawing and discarding cards.
Yep. One card that I was very surprised to find out was legitimately great in this Black-Red Hollow One deck was Flameblade Adept. You know, there were versions that played Vengevine in the early, versions of this Hollow One monstrosity. And it played Flameblade Adept, but a lot of times you'd want to wait until turn 2, turn 3 to cast it so you could get that extra creature trigger for Vengevine. But that ultimately resulted in you already playing a bunch of your looting effects and discard effects, and so it would be much less effective. In this version that was popularized at the most recent Modern Pro Tour, Flameblade Adept is basically Delver of Secrets for the deck. If you play it on turn 1, all of your dirtily stuff, your Faithless Lootings, your Burning Inquiries, they turn into an insane amount of damage on a creature that has evasion.
Yeah, and it's kind of nonsense, honestly, because the other thing, too, about Flameblade Adept is it has Menace.
Yeah.
Which is just like, why does this card have Menace?
Because it costs 1 mana. It needs to be good.
That's one of the things I've realized when playing against Flameblade Adept, which is now joined the battlefield, is, it actually just hanging out has Menace. It is a real problem to block a lot of the time.
Want to say I kind of love the split on Derczo's deck, the 3 Gurmag Angler, 1 Tasser Golden Fang. Sometimes you don't want to have to delve away that 1 extra Flamewake Phoenix or that 1 extra Bloodghast, and that 1 extra delve can sometimes make all the difference. The 5 power from Gurmag Angler, obviously a bigger deal, but sometimes if you draw 2 Gurmag Anglers, it's just 1 card too much.
Merriam is going to sacrifice Windswept Heath, get himself a basic forest. He's going to fall down to 19. He's got a Nettle Sentinel on the battlefield. We're going to see where else he's going to go here. Excuse me.
My guess, Elvish Archdruid. He didn't play a great card on turn 2 or a mana-producing card on turn 2. Seems like his hand is full of the big ones, the good ones. The Cords, the Cocos, the Archdruids, the Azuris.
He's going to come across here for 3 with a Nettle Sentinel. And perhaps next turn will be the big turn for Ross Merriam. But for now, we're going to head over to Michael Derczo and see if this is his big turn.
Let's see if he can discard 19 cards. Or, sorry, 18 cards, excuse me. This isn't the greatest start from Black-Red Hollow One. Like, obviously, you've seen the screenshots on Twitter, right? The nut draws of turn 1 Burning Inquiry, play 2 to 4 Hollow Ones, discard a Flamewake Phoenix. Like, it doesn't happen that much. Come on. But those are the free wins that the deck gets over the course of the tournament. The rest of the time, you have to scrap it out. You got to make sure that you get maximum value out of your Flameblade Adept. You got to, turn your Faithless Lootings into more valuable things. Like, for example, I'm pretty sure he's going to try to find a way to pump this Flameblade Adept and then bring back Flamewake Phoenix because he pumps it up to 4 power.
That would be the goal. Maybe time for a Goblin Lore?
Yeah. Oh, no.
Looks like Collective Brutality.
Collective Brutality.
Going to discard Goblin Lore.
This is a nice one, especially if he hits. Ooh.
Which I think is going to. Quarter Calling, Collective Company. You called it as far as Ross's hand is concerned. Those are some of the best cards in the deck. As there goes Collective Company.
Yeah, Quarter Calling significantly worse when you don't have a bunch of elves in play. The Nettle Sentinel's not even untapping next turn, so he can't even Quarter Calling for 1.
Yeah.
He's in a little bit of trouble here, actually. His hand, losing the Elvish Archdruid was a huge deal.
Let's see what Merriam has drawn here this turn. He'll play a Devoted Druid. That can certainly turn things around, as he'll come in here for 2. Will Ross going to knock Derczo down to 8. So we head back over to Michael. And Michael will draw.
I'm not going to second-guess Ross playing elves. Obviously, Derczo's at 8. there's a chance you kill him with normal damage. But I really want a Court of Calling for 3 to get another Elvish Archdruid onto the battlefield. That way, the second Court of Calling can Court of Calling for 3 again, getting Azuri, and then kill him that way. Now that he's attacked with Nettle Sentinel, it doesn't untap. Currently, he only has access to 5 mana, but that will gain infinite mana. So,
Yes.
okay, I talked it out, and then I figured out what he's doing. There you go. So he's going to make infinite mana next turn. Second Court of Calling is going to get Azuri. He's going to kill him with Nettle Sentinel.
He can go. He can go for the W next turn.
Yep, I'm stupid.
That's all right.
Don't listen
No,
to
you
me.
figured it all out all at once. Oh boy,
Yeah.
another Collective Brutality. He's drawn 3 interaction spells as Michael Derczo.
3/6.
Wow.
You know, we did it. He's still gonna. So Ross has the option to kill off his Devoted Druid. Doesn't have to.
Mm-hmm.
If your opponent was going to play something like Lightning Helix to target it, you can choose to, quote unquote, untap it infinity times. You know, even though it's untapped already, just to put the counters on it so that they don't gain life.
There's another. Well, there's another Devoted Druid. So
We're still doing it. Now we only have 1 Court of Calling. But a drawn Azuri Renegade is lights out.
drawing Collective Company is probably okay at least. You know,
Yeah.
there are some good draw steps here. As Ross has somehow worked himself through 3 of the 6 removal spells that Derczo has access to. Again, remember 4 bolts, 2 Collective Brutalities.
Yeah, but they're not even just removal spells. The brutalities were also duresses.
That's true.
You know, taking away Collective Company and of Court of Calling has kind of taken the wind out of the sails here, so to speak.
Here is Tasigur. That'll enter the battlefield. And now Flamewake Phoenix is going to come back. Here's an attack.
Boom.
So Derczo building up a nice battlefield. Pass the turn back over to Merriam. Big draw step here for Ross.
All right, we got infinite mana. What else we got? Elvish Mystic? Not good enough. Well, you still play Elvish Mystic, and we still Court of Calling for 3. Because it'll untap the Nettle Sentinel, and we have the untap ability from the Devoted Druid.
Mm-hmm.
And then next turn, we can threaten an overrun with the Nettle Sentinel.
Okay.
But, you know, we'll have 5 mana. Infinite mana might be a smarter long-term play, but you are getting pressured pretty hardcore here by the Tasker, Flameblade, Adept, and Flamewake Phoenix.
Looks like we have an update here in our Legacy match. Shannon Grace going to win game number 1 here over Joshua Taylor. Grixis Delver up a game here over Colorless Eldrazi.
Yep.
And you see that Matt Tumavitch with his Green Knight Legends deck won game number 1 over Brendan DeCandio and his white-blue mid-range deck.
Yeah, Grixis Delver has a decent Colorless Eldrazi matchup. It's super close, but a single Tassiger, or not Tassiger, a single Gurmag Angler or a True Name Nemesis is kind of tough for Eldrazi to fight through until they hit like 6 mana for the Fatty Bombaddy.
An endless one?
Endless, no.
Endbringer?
Endbringer,
Yeah.
that's the one. Taking a look here. Ross is thinking really hard about this Court of Calling. He has a couple of options. Azuri Renegade Leader is the obvious pick because you can overrun, but it's not quite lethal next turn. If he's only able to... Actually, it is technically lethal because the Devoted Druid will have...
They get a little bit bigger.
get a little bit bigger and be able to untap an attack. So if Derczo attacks with all of his creatures and doesn't play a blocker, and it's not a lethal attack, Ross might just steal this game after getting pummeled by those Collective Brutalities.
Yeah, this is going to be a little bit interesting about what Ross can and cannot do here with this Court of Calling. If he just wants to go towards Azuri or not.
I'm thinking that just being able to generate 6 power, plus if he draws an untapped land for his turn, he can use that instead of tapping like the Devoted Druid, you know, or the Llanowar Elves and have 1 extra attacker. And they all have trample. Flamewake Phoenix has to attack. But the 5 toughness from Tasker will be the deciding factor. If Derczo attacks with Tasker, there's a very good chance he's going to die on the swing back.
Well, it's time for Michael Derczo to go into the tank in this very, very important game 1 against Ross Merriam and Team BCW. Of course, whoever wins this match will be in the elimination rounds a little bit later this evening. We will start to talk about those at the conclusion of this round. For now, however, Flame Wake Phoenix, well, it's got to attack, so here it comes.
Yeah, I think that's a really heads-up play by Derczo. He knows the inner workings of the Elf deck. He knows Court of Calling can find Azuri. He needs to try to play defense. He's very unlikely to draw any more interaction for the rest of the game. He's already drawn half of them out of his deck. He's got to find a way to kill Ross a different way.
Couple Flame Blade Adepts. No.
That's some defense.
Ross is going to, here we go. So Ross has obviously got a plan. Here's Court of Calling, trigger, untap, Nettle Sentinel. I have to imagine it's Azuri.
Now, if Ross is able to draw, the third Court of Calling, a Collected Company into a Vizier Remedies, or the Vizier Remedies itself, that'll allow him to generate infinite mana and overrun infinite times in the game on the spot.
Now, the only question is, can he overrun infinite times right now or not? Because Devoted Druid in combination with Azuri, the creature's going to get +3/+3. Then you can obviously untap some more because you've got some power and toughness to work with, or you've got some toughness to work with.
It's not infinite. Every overrun's 3 extra mana.
Yeah. So it is not infinite. I'm not sure how much Ross can actually do here. He knows because he's been playing this deck for a while, and he knows the math and all
Yeah,
of
but
stuff.
even he had to tank for about 30 seconds earlier.
It's true. It's true.
Then he figured it out, passed turn.
Now, as you mentioned, it does get very easy if, Vizier or Cord shows up. I believe he's still playing the deck with only one Vizier. Yeah, that's generally how he likes to build his Elves deck. In Modern,
That's all you really need with Court of Calling as your mainstay tutor effect.
plus I'll tell you, Vizier is horrible in multiples.
That is true. I've played against plenty of Abzan Coco decks
Well,
that just, that's it.
that's game. That's game. Game. See you later.
Oh, that was a nice pickup, Ross.
Game. There's the Vizier. Infinite mana, infinite overruns. Good night.
That might have been a Court of Calling top deck worth a few $1,000s by the end of the day.
Everybody come and get you. There we go. Ross Merriam going to win game number 1 here over Michael Derczo as Els with a timely top deck going to take game number 1 over Black Red Hollow 1. It's Hollow fun. These players are going to get ready here for game number 2. We will be taking a look at the sideboards in just a moment. But first, a couple messages from our sponsors. We are back. Cedric Phillips, Todd Anderson here in the booth, getting ready for game number 2 between Michael Derczo and Ross Merriam. Black-Red Hollow One versus Elves. Derczo down a game. So we take a look at the 3 Leyline of the Voids, 3 Ancient Grudges, 2 Fatal Push, 2 Grim Lavamancer, 2 Enter Explosives, 2 Lily on the Veil, and a Collective Brutality. Todd, there's some goodies there against Elves.
Oh, yeah, a lot more interaction. Cards like Flamewake Phoenix, Bloodghast are not overly important in this particular matchup. Those are for games against opponents that are planning to take you to the end game. So I could see him boarding out all 8 of those cards, even though it takes away a bit of his synergy, and replacing it with things like Fatal Push, Grim Lavamancer, Injure Explosives, and even Liliana the Veil, and definitely the last Collective Brutality.
For Ross Merriam, he's got 3 Path to Exile, 3 Lead the Stampede, 2 Nissa Voices Zendikar, 2 Stony Silence, 2 Rest in Peace, an Eidolon Frederick, a Kataki War's Wage, and a Reclamation Sage. Important to note, Ross on the draw this game.
You know what? No changes.
Same 60?
You know, maybe cut 1 or 2 things for the 2 Rest in Peace, but if you expect those cards don't really do much, the only thing Rest in Peace would be stopping would be the Delve creatures. And you may draw Rest in Peace, and it might not matter. They could just put a Hollow One into play, or 4, on the first 2 turns.
Sure.
And then you just die.
I mean, a lot can happen when you're playing against Black-Red Hollow One. That's a thing, you know. Burning Inquiry can mess up your hand, obviously, especially if Derczo's left them in. You can't predict that. You can't play around that. Nothing. So it's tough to say how to sideboard against them sometimes because they can have an explosive start that you can't really do much about.
Yeah, I mean, the whole point of Ross playing this Elves deck is to fight decks like Black-Red Hollow One, to beat up on decks like Humans and Affinity, these linear decks that don't have a lot of interaction. You know, Elves might have been one of the best choices I've seen for this tournament just because 12 of the day 2 decks were those 3 decks where I think he has a good matchup.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Can we get a 10-sided die?
Oh, yes. This is the best part of my job. I can't believe I get paid to do this.
Wait, you getting paid for this? Why didn't you tell me?
Ruin his hand, Derczo. Show me the hollow ones.
Oh, yeah. You know what? Par for the course, I'm just going to expect 3 hollow ones.
Yes. It feels like the deck plays 100 hollow ones when this happens.
Yeah. Never thought I would see the day where you needed a 10-sided die for your deck to function.
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
This is nonsense. This picking cards, you roll dice.
Nah, I like it. This is faster. There go a couple Heritage Druids and a Devoted Druid. Show me some hollow ones. Show me some hollow fun. What? Boo.
You know what? Good.
Boo.
Good. You know, I've always thought that Magic Online was maybe a little bugged. And I've seen a lot of trips and quads hollow one on the first turn. Screenshots from Magic Online. This is reality.
This is not how you keep viewers, Todd. Where are the hollow ones, Todd?
Look, that's not my fault.
Everyone turned on something else now, Todd.
And how is that my fault? I'm saying I'm trying to make it funny because his deck is really bad. I'm just kidding. I love Black-Red Hollow One. It's my second favorite deck in Modern behind 5-color Humans. Buy them both on rcgames.com today.
There you go. Well done. Here's a Gurmag Angler.
It's a pretty good start. Push plus Gurmag on turn 2.
Slow Ross down.
Yeah.
And have a 5/5 on the battlefield.
Yeah, and, you know, it made Ross discard 2 of his Heritage Druids and a Devoted Druid. So a lot of his, you know, unique mana generation cards are just gone.
Boreal Druid is the playoff of the Cavern of Souls, of course, aiming Elf.
Lame.
And Ross did draw a copy of Path to Exile
Lame.
for the Gurmag Angler. Timely.
Yeah, you know.
Timely draw.
You know, he's a coward.
Oh.
He just brings in Path to Exile because he's afraid of a 5/5.
Yeah. Yeah.
With your million tiny creature, your Dwight in Elite deck. Come on.
I think I'm with him on this one.
Sure.
I'm going to side with Ross. What do we got? A Goblin Lore?
I bet on the play they ain't in his deck.
Come on. Matt Tumavitch wins his match 2-0 very quickly over Brendan DeCandio. So
This is the decider.
this is it right here.
The George W. Bush of games.
The decider.
Look, self-proclaimed decider. I didn't make up that nickname for him.
Fair enough.
You know.
Here's a Goblin Lore. We are going to draw 1, 2, 3. Let's make it 4. Discard 3 at random.
What was Pat Chapin's nickname that he made up for himself?
The Innovator.
Yeah.
That's his nickname.
It sure is.
That is.
It sure is.
1, 2, and 3.
The decider.
What did we lose? We lost a Burning Inquiry, a Flame Wake Phoenix, and it looks like maybe a Tasker, the Golden Fang. We want hollow ones.
Yeah, if he plays 2 hollow ones, that Path of Exile is going to look kind of embarrassing. He's just going to wish he had more combo pieces and more random elves.
Blackleaf Cliffs will be the land. And Ross says, let me see Flame Wake Phoenix real quick. Make
Triggers
sure I can
during
get
the
this.
beginning combat step.
Yeah.
He's going to path probably during the first main phase still, so the trigger doesn't even go on the stack.
No, I think that's the plan.
Better keep that graveyard order correct. Side judge reading the card. Or teammate reading the card. I don't know.
There we go. That's going to exile the Gurmag Angler. And that means that Flame Lake Phoenix.
All right, path looking pretty good. Take it back.
Okay. You're
All
on
right.
board now?
Yeah. It's also one of his very few ways to beat an active Grim Lavamancer, which would be a nightmare.
Yeah, that's true. And you don't know if Ross knows that there's active Grim Lavamancer or Grim Lavamancer's coming from the sideboard, but it is good to kind of hedge a little bit here. And now there is Flameblade Adept. So we're going to head back over to Ross, who's going to have access to 3, potentially 4 mana next turn.
Thanks to Boreal Druid.
That's right.
Man, it's been a long time since I've seen that card.
Boreal.
Maybe
Ooh.
she's born with it.
That's right.
Maybe it's Boreal.
Elvish Archdruid. Pass the turn back. Big turn coming from Merriam next turn, I imagine.
Usually is. If you get to untap with an Elvish Archdruid, you're usually in good shape from the elf side. Mostly because you can cast an elf or 2 before you even activate the Archdruid, and it kind of doubles your mana production for the turn.
However, Lightning Bolt is going to slow that down. Horizon Canopy the draw.
Yep. 4th mana, though.
Metal Sentinel. No attacks. It'll be a Darwin's Elite instead.
Yeah, just putting up some defenses. He drew his 4th mana. I kind of thought maybe he just had Coco and he would just cast that. But maybe his hand is a little gummed up with 3 drops and he's just trying to progress his board.
This will be a, oh boy. Oh boy.
You got to do what you got to do.
We're going to the streets, as Owen Turtenwald would say.
He hasn't found any copies of Hollow One.
Yeah.
He's already down 2 of his big Delvers.
When
Not
you,
to be confused with Delvers of Secrets.
when you hardcast Street Wraith, you're taking it to the streets. Here's an Azuri.
I'll say this. If Ross draws a Cavernous Souls for his land, he will not be able to activate Azuri,
That is
which
true.
is hilarious.
That is true. In his mostly green deck.
Yeah.
It'll be a touch awkward.
Thanks, Boreal Druid.
Look, they're a team. He needed 1 more mana accelerant. I like it. Little snow mana never hurt anybody.
Hurt me pretty good with the Mouth of Ronom. Brought that one up the other day.
Yeah, we can see that make its way into Modern maybe.
Isn't Into the North seeing some play in some Turbo Depths deck because it gets Dark Depths out the deck?
It was. I think they're past that in Legacy.
Yeah, Sylvan Scrying, while it doesn't actually build up your mana base at all, being able to find the Thespian stage half of the combo is definitely reasonable.
Yeah, I think that's pretty important. Draw a card. Will
Didn't
Derczo.
want to just cast another 3/4?
Didn't want to go to the streets again.
Taking it to the street race.
Gurmag Angler. 3, 4, 5, 6. 7 mana for that Angler, which means that he can get back Flame Wake Phoenix and actually start to do a little something here in the air, which is Derczo's probably best avenue to victory. So everything else ain't looking so good right
You
now.
know what would have been better than Path to Exile on turn 2? Rest in peace.
Maybe.
Maybe not. I think there was already a Gurmag Angler in play on Derczo's turn 2, so.
Oh, no, there was. There
Oh, yeah.
was.
Ooh, yeah.
Let's go to Ross, who's got to lead the Stampede in hand. A couple of other options here, too. Ross just going to pass the turn back. Maybe he has access to Coco or Cord.
I'm guessing, yeah, he's got one of those. Either one of those is probably going to put him at a hugely advantageous position as long as he hits 2 creatures off of Coco or is able to find an Elvish Archdruid to, overrun with Azuri a quadrillion damage.
Derczo going to consult with Joshua Taylor, who unfortunately lost his match to Tan and Grace. 0 games to 2. Kolos Eldrazi not able to keep up with Grixis Delver. However, the other teammate there, Matt Tumavitch, was able to get the job done over Brendan DeCandio, 2-0. So it all comes down to Derczo. And if he can get the job done here and tie things up against Merriam for a third and final one of this match and the Swiss rounds of this tournament.
Unfortunately, even if Derczo wants to get aggressive here and start attacking with his ground creatures, the secondary ability of Azuri is very good. You get to put a regeneration shield on as many creatures as you have access to green mana. And, you can block, and then before damage resolves, just regenerate everything.
Burning Inquiries will be responded to here by Merriam.
Yeah, I don't want to randomly discard that one, so going to go ahead and cast it.
We'll see what 2 creatures he's able to put on the battlefield from Collected Company. It'll be a Direwan's Elite and a Devoted Druid.
Yeah, that should do it.
Well, it's certainly getting tough.
Well, Derczo can get a little lucky off this Burning Inquiry and draw into some way to kill Azuri Renegade Leader.
I think that's going to be necessary. As here come 3 cards for Ross, 3 cards for Michael. And of course, we will shuffle, and each player will lose 3.
Both amateurs looking at the cards before they discard. You got to draw them dark. You got to discard them and be upset in the moment about what you discarded.
Well, there go 2 copies of Lead the Stampede and a Windswept Heath, none of which I think Merriam needed. For Derczo, he discarded at least 1 copy of Hollow One, but Hollow One's not even particularly good right now.
Nope, definitely just want some way to get Azuri off the table.
Flame Lake Phoenix will come in, and Derczo will play another Flame Lake Phoenix post-combat.
Well, let's see if we're going to have to do some quick maths, Is that Nixos?
Yeah. How much math do we need now?
Not very much.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's at least 2 overruns. So let's count out the power. We got 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. So we got 11 power in play. All the creatures are going to get at least +6/+6.
I think
So that's 42. So that's 50 some odd damage, maybe more, from the Devoted Druid.
The one of Nick Those here for Ross Merriam is going to do it.
And that's going to send Ross, Tannen, and Brennan into the top 8.
Yes, it will. Team BCW back into the elimination rounds.